Ladies, gents, thems, my name is Ash Morgan and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about all things gay history, so if queer historical figures are your vibe, go ahead and like and subscribe. Alright everybody, I cannot tell you how many comments I've gotten about this gal. Everybody wants my girlfriend to be back on with me, so here she is.
I'm here and
Introduce
I'm queer.
yourself.
My name's Mac. Like I just said, I'm here and I'm queer.
Also known as the Daddy Mac on Instagram and TikTok.
Thanks for the proper intro.
Yeah. Okay, so today we're gonna be throwing it back to Ann Lister. Remember her?
Yes.
Remember our spicy fuckboy lesbian from the 1800s? Wow, it's been a while since I've covered her. I think it was 1800s, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we did two. I did one video myself, and then Matt came and helped me with the second video, so I will definitely link those below so you can go hear the whole tea about Ann Lister. Basically, Ann Lister was a notorious lesbian from the 1800s who was hella playa. Like, think of the most playboy lesbian you know, and then like times 10. And she was doing her thing in the 1800s, and she had an extensive diary that she wrote about all of her conquests in, and she literally had code that she had made, and she wrote all the juicy parts in code. So I have the Ann Lister diaries, at least the part 1 of her diaries, and also the internet. So me and Mac went through and found some of the spiciest quotes we could of hers.
Would like to say I just love that she literally took the time and effort to create a whole ass code language just to document and detail all of her, what would you call them?
Conquests.
Oh, yeah, conquests.
Just gonna give you a disclaimer that she's a bit problematic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But we still love her. Honestly, we really still love her.
We love her. I've got a couple quotes that are a little interesting for you today.
So this one is about Mariana. Soon began on the erotics last night, her warmth encouraging. I said this was not like keeping our promise. She answered no and reached a towel to put under us to keep the bed clean on account of her cousin. I had retired too early for her. Am I too soon for you? Yes, rather, said she, and I resumed, determined she should have sufficiently...
Am I too soon for... Does that mean she like came too fast?
Good question. To be discussed.
Okay.
After I finish. And I resumed, determined she should have a sufficiently good kiss before I had one.
Kiss meant orgasm.
Oh, really?
That was her code, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, now we know. She said she had, and we fell asleep. Both awoke at 5 in the morning and talked till 7. Asked if this was not better than my sleeping in Micklegate. Yes, but it was prudence on her part. She had a feeling she could not describe, would make any sacrifice rather than have our connection suspected. She seemed very affectionate and fond of me, said I was her only comfort. She should be miserable without me. LC has therefore been sadly out of his best humor this summer, and M sadly fidgeted.
Elsie is Mariana's husband. I think that when it says, I think when she was saying better than her sleeping at Micklegate, so when Mariana and her husband first got married, Anne and like 2 of Mariana's sisters went and lived with Mariana and her husband for the first like 6 months. It was like a normal like custom to do. So I think that's what she was talking about. Like, isn't it better for us to sleep together than you to be like in your own room?
Dang.
That's what I'm guessing.
My favorite part is, and reached a towel to put under us to keep the bed clean on account of her cousin. So was this in her cousin's bed? Or she just didn't want her cousin to know? Or like,
or is she talking about, or she might be talking about her period. I think that cousin was like a slang for period back then. But
well, that just took all the sexiness away from that whole situation.
Did it? No, you can still have hot period sex. Come on.
Okay, true, but I mean, like, I thought she was just like out here squirting everywhere. I was like, okay.
Well, maybe she is still. Let's pivot to her and Mariana's sister.
Ah, yeah.
Her sister Nance,
that was
who she also had a thing with. So Anne was dating Mariana. They were like married for like 10 years or something like that.
Damn,
but Mariana also had to get married to a man to like be able to provide for herself financially.
Yeah,
but she was like in love with Anne, and they were like together the whole time. But then it was obviously a big old stress thing because Anne didn't like she was married to a man. That was part of their plan. They wanted her to have kids and then her husband to die before them because he was older than them, but he outlived Anne, and they had no kids.
Yep.
So did not work out according
I
to
remember that.
Yeah, so then she got a little bitter about the fact that her lover and wife was married to somebody else, and so she started having flings with Mariana's sisters, which is just the emotionally responsible thing to do, obviously. So this is about Nance, her sister. All rather tired and went to bed early. And so her name is Anne or Nance, she goes by both. Anne sat by my bedside and lay by me upon the bed till 3 a.m. I, teasing and behaving rather amorously to her, she would gladly have gotten to bed or done anything of the loving kind I asked her.
Okay.
She's a cocky bitch.
But I mean, she wasn't really into that chick, right? Like, she kind of was, but it was mostly just for like a...
She was more into Nance. There was like 2 of Mariana's sisters, or 3 that she had flings with. One of them she wasn't that into. Nance, I think she was the most closely into, but Mariana, she just was into the most.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is talking about Maria Barlow.
Okay.
Which,
a new guy. Wow, we've got 3 gals already.
Detail. Who's
Maria Barlow was her lover in France. So when she was having a whole quarrel with Mariana, she went and moved to France and was staying there. And then she started dating this other girl, even though she was still dating Mariana. This girl wanted to marry her, but she was like, no. And then she ended up like having a commitment ceremony with Mariana and like committing herself to Mariana and breaking things off with her, but then still fucking her every now and then.
Okay, so about Maria Barlow. I had kissed and pressed Mrs. Barlow, Mrs. by the way.
Oh, she was widowed.
Okay.
Widowed or divorced, one of the 2.
One of the 2. Mrs. Barlow on my knee till I had a complete fit of passion. Wow. My knees and thighs shook. My breathing and everything told her what was the matter. She went on. Then made several gentle efforts to put my hands up her petticoats, which, however, she prevented. But she so crossed her legs and leaned against me that I put my hand over and grubbled her on the outside of her petticoats till she was evidently a little excited.
She sounds like a guy.
Wow! So this girl's just kind of like, no, and she's like, yes. Let's talk about consent here.
Yeah. There's gonna be some blurry consent lines.
Okay.
In some of the things I have for you too.
Yeah, no, I remember we talked about that last time in the last video. She's a little forward. I want to say probably because, and obviously, you know, hey, consent's a thing. Everybody should get that, 100%. But I just also want to say it's probably 1800s. Things were scarce back then. She probably really had to make her moves to let people know that she was down. And then, you know, see what happened.
I'm hoping she's acting like a girl, not a guy, and she's actually noticing like how the girls are feeling,
picking up on
and like being able
cues.
to tell that they actually do want it or not. I don't know. All we know is that Maria fell helplessly in love with her. So
that's all we know. This is only her account, so we don't, you know.
That's the hard thing. It's all one-sided.
That's all we have to go off.
Okay, so this is talking about her and Mariana and kind of like their deceit of their affair, I think.
Okay.
So it says, then told her how completely I had duped Miss Pickford and that the success of such deep deceit almost smote me, but I had done it all for her and sake. Why does it smite you? It is deceit that does no one any harm. I made no reply, but mused how sophistry might reign within the breast where none suspected it. How might not this argument be stretched from one deceit to another? Mary, you have passion like the rest, but your caution cheats the world out of its scandal. Oh, I kind of like that. That's actually true. She had to go with the normal route and get married. Your courage is weak rather than your principles strong. Yet, damn, she's really laying into Mary.
She's just calling her
out. Mariana, Is it I who write this? She's true to me, yes, but she has not that magnanimity of truth that satisfies a haughty spirit like mine, is too tamely worldly, and worldliness is her strength and weakness, her foible and her virtue. She loves me, I do believe her, as well as she is capable of loving, yet her marriage was worldly, her whole conduct is worldly, in the furthest verge that craven love can bear. Yeah, she was a little bit bitter about Mariana getting married. She felt very like betrayed.
Okay,
and, like, it
was it like a mutual decision between them, or like Mariana was just?
No, Mariana basically came and just like told her, and she was she like begged, she like cried and begged for Mariana not to.
And do you think that like Anne had the funds to be able to support them both if she wanted to marry her?
Here's the thing. Anne wasn't the richest gal on the block. She was more like she had a notable family. Okay. But it's not like they had overwhelming funds. Which I'm sure, like, you know, that's still better than a lot of people.
Like, they probably could have made do or something. But.
Yeah, but
also, yeah, that's so hard back then when it's like, you know, it's what you're like so deeply ingrained. What you're expected to do is get married to
told Anne that like she had to marry him because then her like sisters wouldn't be able to get married or something like that until she got married. There's just like a lot of weird things that Anne like didn't love all her excuses, but.
So let's see. Number 3. Could not sleep last night, dozing, hot and disturbed. A violent longing for a female companion came over me, never remembering feeling it so painfully before.
Damn.
It was absolute pain to me.
Oh, wow, she sounds like she has blue balls.
Damn. I mean, I think we've all been there. We've all been there. You know,
She's
single lesbian days, man.
Wow, that was like, I really felt that. I was in that moment with her. That was very descriptive, right?
No.
Okay, so this one, honestly, Anna's a great writer.
No, she is descriptive.
And this
Very
is, I
descriptive.
feel like she's really good actually at like, just like you're saying, like, we've all felt that. I feel like we've all felt this before. How I could have adored her had she been more of that angelic being my fancy formed her. No thought, no word, no look had wandered. Then surely my every sentiment toward her had had less of earth in it than heaven. Yep.
Wow.
Just like making someone into the person in your head as opposed to who they really are.
Yeah.
I think that was about Mariana, because she like just like really built
Yeah.
Mariana up, but then she slowly started like losing feelings for her because of all the shit that they were going through together.
Well,
And she's
especially,
just
I mean,
like, honestly,
if she's
everyone's-
married, like,
Yeah.
yeah. Ooh.
started to wear on her.
I feel like at lesbians and any straight girl that they've ever encountered. It's personal attack. Although, Mariana, were you straight? Like, okay, obviously she wasn't, but like, were you even into men? These are the questions I always have.
She wasn't
So,
even
like,
into her husband.
were you like, I don't know, which honestly is so crazy. It just brings up this whole topic again, getting on tangents, sorry, but dang, like this whole concept of just like heteronormativity, like if she wasn't even into her husband at all, then literally the only reason she married him was for approval.
Okay, speaking of Mariana, this is a conversation she had with Mariana. They're so dramatic. So Anne says, "This is adultery to all intents and purposes." "No," said she. "Oh yes, Em, no casuistry can disguise it." "Not this, then, but the other." "Well," said I, choosing to let the thing turn her own way, "I always considered your marriage legal prostitution. We were both wrong. You to do it and I to consent to it. And when I think of blaming others, I always remember nothing can at all excuse us but our prior connection." She like, because here's the thing, you have to realize, her and Mariana literally had like a wedding ceremony together. Like they like considered themselves
prior?
married. Yes, before she got married to this man. They were already considered married in Anne's eyes, and then
Like
she
just
married this
between
guy.
between the two of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because obviously it wouldn't be.
They like exchanged
accepted.
pubic hair and shit.
Whoa. Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and
That
so,
makes it real.
So they had a lot of conversations where Anne was just like, "This is cheating, this is bad." Like she had like all these like, she still had this very strong sense of morality, and so she didn't love how their relationship was.
So okay, but Anne did consent to her marrying him. Like
Eventually she did. She like cried and begged and asked Mariana not to, but then finally Mariana just did it, and she was like,
this is
"Well,
like
I
basically
still."
just to keep her.
She was like, "Well, I still love you. I want to be with you." Yeah. But then over the years, it slowly just caused a lot of
Dude,
rift.
that's hard. Oh my god, I can't even imagine. That's just
Yeah.
like, ugh. All right, next one. So I think this is about Anne, which is Nance, right? It's the same person.
Oh, either that or
Just
her
says
actual
Anne.
wife.
Oh yeah. There's multiple. There's so many Annes.
I think that's
forgot
her.
about
I
that.
think that's her wife, Anne.
Oh, and what
Before
was her
she-
name? Anne Walker, right?
Walker, yeah.
Yes. Okay. About Anne Walker, supposedly. She was at first tired and sleepy, but by and by roused up, and during a long grubbling said, "Often we had never done it so well before." Ooh. I was hot to washing tub wetness and tired before it was half over. We
Oh.
walked and never slept till 5. Sauntered through my walk. Ooh, okay.
It reminds me of the like Ariana Grande song where she's like talking about how
Got
she
me
like
walking side
side
to
to
side.
yeah.
Damn. And was out here doing the same thing. She was like,
Like whoa.
damn, that sex be good though.
Oh shit. Okay. Wow.
Okay.
She has a way with her words.
Also, I love this first word. She was at first tired and sleepy, but by and by roused up, and during a long. What is grubbling?
What's it called?
To feel or grope in the dark. I mean, that's the first definition.
Okay, yeah, that's probably what groping. Yeah, I think it's groping.
To feel or grope in the dark. Yep, that's the definition.
So Anne, at one point, toured Scotland with a gal named Cybella McLean. So she says,
another new girl. How many girls is that so far? It's
like 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl number 5.
2 beds in our room last night, but mine very cold and perhaps not quite dry. So went to Miss McLean. Began immediately to fidget. At last sucked her right breast. She resisting, but not preventing, and not being angry, merely saying it was not fair as I endeavored to get my hand down to her mustaches.
Mustaches! Oh shit.
Said she was not like other people, cold, etc. She denied being cold, but said it was not right. She had scruples, 2 females ought not. She could do all I wished if it was right. Okay, so she's okay, at least she's like, I want this, but I know it's not right to do. This led to a little conversation. I professing to respect her scruples, etc., etc. And we went to sleep about 3:30. Awoke at 8. Took no notice of scruples. Began again. Got my hand down, she putting it off. At last I begged her to leave me alone. She always is like, she does this thing where she like turns it around. She's like, well, why would you do this to me? Why would you make me feel this way?
Sounds like so many men.
I know, exactly. She really sounds like a man sometimes.
And God.
To my surprise, she said nothing, but did so, and we lay till after 10, and I had my right middle finger moderately up twice. She had never loved anyone half as well as me. She certainly likes me, and now lets me kiss her more freely. She looked a little modest this morning on getting up, but we have got over it very well. She does look oldish in bed and in a morning, and I don't want to go any greater lengths with her. Poor Em, what would she say? I begin to agree with her, all women are vulnerable. Like, what?
She sounds exactly like a dude.
Really? She's like, I just need to get my fix.
She just wants to get it in. That was it. She looks a little oldish in bed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And no. Next one. Number 6. No drawers on last night. First time and first attempt to get really near her. Did not succeed very well, but she seemed tolerably satisfied. Tolerably satisfied? What does that mean?
Did not succeed, but she seemed tolerably satisfied.
Rainy morning. Could not have my own carriage, and Myers could not get Miss W's ready till 12. Breakfast at 9 3/4.
Oh yeah, Miss W, so Miss Walker.
Okay. So they both had no underwear on last night for the first time, and she made her first attempt on
or at least
Walker.
No pants. I don't know about underwear.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Drawers.
I thought it was underwear, but maybe, I don't know. Did not succeed very well, but she seemed tolerably satisfied. What does that look like? What is tolerably satisfied? Like, is it tolerably to Ann Lister? It's like tolerably to her, she seemed satisfied.
I feel like this is what like every guy thinks with their sex life. They're like, she seemed like okay about that. That was fine.
Okay, that's a really big generalization, but also, listen, if you're a guy watching this, don't be offended. These are our life experiences, okay?
Oh
that's
no,
what
obviously some men are
attuned to like their
just
partner,
like some women are not attuned.
Like yes, and Lister, it's really hard to say. We don't really know.
We don't.
No, it's
okay. Here's a great one. It starts off real strong. She's still talking about that girl and the oldish gal that she was fucking. She was desperately dry, for after handling her and right middle up a little, I got her near to me first time and could not make much of it. Told her we should do better another time. By and by, tried her again, but not much better though. I did feel a little myself. She certainly did not scold me, and in spite of dryness, seemed to have pleasure or move about a little as if she had.
Okay, the lines are real blurred there. I don't condone. And
yeah, no, I just really don't know about that.
The other ones, it's like, okay, maybe.
This is exactly what I was talking about when I told you that it got a little blurry here.
And come on. Initially it was blurry. This is on like the other side of blurry, where it's like if she's dry and also she's not even really giving you the signs that she's super into. She said like slightly. She's like, she didn't seem to like not like it, basically. It's like number 7 of 9. 2 last night and the same number this morning. The latter a good one. What are we talking about?
She's talking about kisses.
She wetter than before and doing it with all her heart, however anxious to get up in time for church. Ooh, Woo, that's spicy. Damn. Okay. Also, I love that she calls kisses orgasms. That's so great. She wetter than before and doing it with all her heart. However, they gotta go to church in the morning, so.
This is a nice change of pace, yeah. Please have sex
yeah.
before church, lesbian sex before church. I love this. This is what's so funny about religion to me is I feel like people have been doing this shit from the beginning of religion.
Gay or straight, it doesn't even
They'd be
matter.
preaching and hating on everybody about all the rules, but then they're just doing it behind the scenes, just
But if you still go to church, it's all good.
Yeah,
you can just
go atone for your sins. No, they
just
literally
no, I'm sorry.
her and Anne literally used to take communion together every time after they had sex and repent.
Lots of questionable things here. Lots of inspiring things, but also a lot of questionable things. And you know what is so funny is I feel like a lot of characters in history are this gray area. I feel like we have a tendency to view people, especially historical figures that are important as black and white, they were good or they were bad. But I think for all of them there was a lot of gray area, especially when it comes to racism.
That's the issue I
and
find.
Sexism. A lot of them. I mean, it's just a lot of them were products of
That's literally the issue I've been
environment at the time.
finding with my channel is just looking into these different historical figures and realizing, oh shit, they were hella racist, or oh shit, they had slaves, or oh shit, they were, I don't know, everybody had their biases, everybody did their shit. The thing is, they were products of the time that they were in, and it sucks.
Yeah,
but
that's what makes it super interesting, because I feel like some of them genuinely probably were good people and wanted good in certain areas, but then also we said, some of them are slave owners, or some of them Ann Lister have super toxic masculinity and are not really concerned about consent, and it's kind of but continuing on, okay. 8 of 9. Anne says, did nothing but dreamy of Miss Brown. She's certainly very pretty.
This is number 7?
Number 6 or 7. Ooh, she's certainly very pretty.
Wow, Mrs. Brown. Okay.
Who's that? Do you know anything about Miss Brown? Yeah.
I think she was just a random, I know I read something about her in her diary. I think she was a gal that lived nearby.
Okay.
That she was
she's had a little
she's had a lot of random flings with random gals. But the thing is, a lot of gals were down to get down with her, but they didn't want to commit to her or have any kind of relationship with her. They still wanted to marry a man. This morning, awaked before 8, but roused up at 9, she begged me not to begin again when it was light, on which I got up and shut the shutters and had her without a word. After a little handling, said she was better.
Handling!
But I hoped we should still improve, for she was hardly yet mine. Then put up my right middle finger by way of opening her a little for tonight. Very tight.
She keeps talking about her right middle finger, that's her go-to guy.
This is her, yeah, that's
this is the longest one, at least for me, but what's yours? Isn't your...
I don't ever use one.
I think is everybody's middle finger the longest finger?
Yeah.
Even though she begged me not to, is that what she said?
She said, yes, begged me not to begin again when it was light. So then she just got up and closed the shutters.
I hate that. I genuinely hate that.
Yeah.
Next one, last one. Okay, number 9. This girl who not long ago was so much in my mind, I shall never care to behold her again.
That sounds pretty relatable too, actually.
Yeah. That's every relationship you go through,
Relationship and just crush or fling. You're just
wow,
thinking about someone 24/7, and then you're just
get over it at some point.
Let's end with a little bit happier note. Okay. Her and her wife, Anne Walker, we got on marvelously. Incurred an X last night thinking of her. 3 kisses better to her than to me. I think X is orgasm too. Oh, X is I think that's her code for when she kins by herself when she's masturbating.
Oh, so kiss is orgasm together.
Yep, we got on marvelously. Incurred an X last night thinking of her. Oh. 3 kisses better to her than to me. So I guess she
so maybe she
gave more to
maybe she's trying to give more than to receive.
The hard thing about her is I feel like she genuinely does want to please her women, and she does want to do that. I just feel like she's so overrun with toxic masculinity. Her model that she was following is men of the times, and men of the times in the 1800s fucking sucked. They were awful. Consent, what's that? I don't know. I think they just had this view. It's men today even have this view that girls don't know that you want them until you make moves on them and stuff like that. And I feel like it was
been trained to believe.
And it was even worse in the 1800s, guaranteed.
Well, I mean, we've talked about before, if you look at any movie, where there's like a love story. The girl is always turning down the guy multiple times before she's finally like, okay, fine, maybe I do like you. Kind of cringe. So this was an interesting video.
This was Ann Lister. So
shucks.
I would love to hear your guys' opinions on everything. Go ahead and put that below. Also, I'm curious like who you would want to see us cover in the future. I'll definitely have Mac on for more Tipsy lesbian history videos.
Yeah.
She is so hotly requested.
Yeah.
Get so many DMs and comments asking for her. It's
So
actually
cute.
slightly offensive, but it's
Hey,
okay.
no, it's not. People
Slightly offensive, but I'm not
want
like
my
interesting enough.
People just want my reactions.
Yeah,
That's all
no.
it is.
While you're at it, go ahead and check out one of my recent videos. I got a whole video on Imperial China and Korea. We've got some very juicy stories about queer figures back then. And then I also have a nice video about La Mupa, which did not get as many views as it should because it is literally my favorite video I've ever recorded.
And she's a
Please
baddie.
go watch that.
She's a baddie bee.
Yeah. Okay, and I will see you next week, maybe with Macaton. Woo!
Bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Mwah.